All right, welcome to Post Game Live. You see that score, Jets 17, Patriots 3, and that's only the second most unusual thing about this day at Gillette Stadium. For the first time in 9 years, the Patriots lose to the New York Jets. The most unusual part of the day, of course, Bill Belichick, Gillette Stadium, possibly his last game as Patriots head coach. We're here with Curran, Ted Johnson. I'm Michael Holley. You look at this game, I don't know if it's the game. The Patriots are 4-13. A lot of people are happy about that. Hey, you don't want to win this game. You don't want to mess with your draft position. If there's anything about the game that stands out to you, Tom, or is it the atmosphere that really gets your attention?
The atmosphere, and I think that final scene, the game is so forgettable, 17-3, but seeing Bill leaving the hood up, the half mask covering most of his face, no acknowledgement of the crowd, but I understand that. It was a sad, miserable, bleak finish to a sad, miserable, and bleak season. You know, there was a lack of ambiguity maybe entering the season as to how good this team was. I thought they were good. Other people didn't think they were good. That ambiguity was erased by midseason, and I think that even though I've reported the decision was made weeks ago, there was still perhaps, if there was a flurry at the end, that could have saved Bill Belichick's job. I think after this game today and the muted nature of Gillette Stadium, there will be nothing that can really flip things around. So I think there's unambiguity, too, as to the direction that they will go in, which is the one that we reported earlier.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, that was just a strange ending. I mean, when you see the Jets players, they're having fun. They're doing snow angels. They're picking the ball off. Breece Hall's running through the defense like that, and they're having a good time, even though their season's been over. It's just, I was kind of hoping and expecting that to be the other way, where it'd be the Patriots players celebrating a win, even though it was a disappointing, season. I just thought it would go the other way. And Tom's absolutely right. I think the biggest takeaway clearly is just the whole atmosphere. And I think the weather really muted maybe potentially what this game would have looked like visually, just from a playing standpoint, but also from the crowd and the interaction that, it seemed to lack there from the crowd towards Bill. If the weather was better, maybe it goes different. But it was just kind of it's a bad, ugly game and a sad kind of game when you consider what potentially is going to be happening here in the next few days, you guys.
What do you think, Mike? You have covered this guy in terms of portions of his career more closely than anyone. How do you feel and describe what you saw today in terms of Bill Belichick as a head coach going forward here?
Yeah, Tom, we talked about it a bit earlier, and I was just thinking about it. I've spent nearly half of my life thinking about, talking about, writing about Bill Belichick. He's been here for 24 years, and most of those 24 years, even in the down seasons like this one, there have been a lot of interesting moments, a lot of stuff that you could dive into, a lot of layers to those conversations. Obviously, a lot of success too. But it's clear to me that it's over here, and I don't think it's over for him. I think it's over here. You guys might think I'm crazy about this. I think Bill Belichick has 40 to 50 wins left in him. But this is not the kind of team where you can get 40 to 50 wins. He needs to go to a better situation and coach. He's like the film director who has done everything. And no, hey, listen, just focus on directing the film. We'll do all the other stuff, gaffers and all this other stuff, and figuring out who's going to be the caterer. You just need to focus on directing. And I think he can coach, but building the entire operation has gotten away from him a bit. So I think this is it in New England, but I think he goes somewhere else. And maybe it's not in 2024 season. Maybe it's 2025 where he takes over another operation. But, Tom, I like the way you said it. Sad, bleak atmosphere today, sad, bleak season, and bleak ending. There are no storybook endings, Tom.
No.
Like we always say, what's an elegant way for Robert Kraft to move on from this? There is none. There is no elegant way to do it. You do it or you don't. And all the legends, whether it's Tom Landry or whether it's Don Shula or anyone, Chuck Noll, those guys didn't want to leave. And there's like an emptiness that you feel when you watch them walk away, and that's what we're looking at today.
You do, but I think that there was, with all of those coaches, there was not much speculation that there would be another chapter for them at 71. And what you're saying, and what I think we both agree, Bill is not a normal 71. 71 ain't what he used to be.
Right.
And Bill can go someplace else. And the energy that he has shown throughout. I spoke to high-ranking people in the offensive staff this week, and they said the most amazing thing about this season has been the consistency of Bill's message, his dependability, the fact that every single day you can't tell a friggin' thing is going on. And that leads to a constitution that somebody has to have. Like, I can't imagine he's not mentally and physically fatigued to the point, and sick. He's physically sick right now, too, to the point of break. Like, he could use the break, but there is another frontier out there for him if he wants to explore it. But should he take a year off?
Oh, look, I think he would absolutely it would be in the best benefit of Bill to take a year off and recharge. And I'll be honest, I don't know, the way things are kind of shaking out, I just don't see, Michael, you're talking about maybe him having 40 or 50 more, wins in him, only if he's brought into a situation where he's putting on the final touches. Right? That's the
exactly.
only.
I agree. Yes.
And maybe that team is, I just don't see it right now, other than potentially maybe a Dallas. Dallas is the only place I could see him going to and maybe saying, I don't need all the power. I got the quarterback. I just need to put the final touches on it. Otherwise, I feel like his pool of choices are dwindling, at least for some of these reports. And so it's going to be fascinating what's going to happen here. The fact that Bill wants to continue coaching is what's making this an awkward kind of situation. I think the Patriots ultimately would hope that Bill would, maybe like a lot of people thought Tom should have done, was just retired, and then it's a clean break for everyone. That's not going to be the case. He's going to want to coach, and so this thing potentially could get ugly.
But I like what Tom said. 71 is not what it used to be, and I think that's a position that is not that's not the majority position out there here. A lot of people talking about Bill's age, and I agree with you, Tom. I mean, okay, if you are intimidated by 71, a 71-year-old running your football team, I will suggest to you that there are people making decisions about your life. There are people making decisions about your health and your finances who are 71 or older, and they're not considered the best in their field. So if we start going down that rabbit hole, it's going to be uncomfortable. 71, okay, but there are a lot of people in all aspects of society who are that age or older making much more important decisions about who's running your football team.
No, that's true. That's true. But, not every, 71-year-old is created equal. I mean, you might say like a Pete Carroll's 71, but it seems like the players relate to him. He can relate to the players. He's not so stuck in his ways. There's an interpersonal, skill set that he has that maybe Bill doesn't. So I just think, Bill being 71, he's so set in his ways. And I just feel like the number one problem a lot of times for Bill, maybe not only picking the personnel, but was also just relatability and connecting with players. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the video of the Houston Texans video after their big win last night. DeMeco Ryans coming in and screaming and going nuts and
jumping around just like one of the guys.
I just think that's how that's today's coach needs to be.
I agree with you to an extent, but we also celebrated Bill's stoicism for so long and laughed at the Mickey Mouse Rex Ryan, hey, go connect with the players and be a lot of fun. There are too many players who do identify with Bill, your Jabril Peppers or your David Andrews. To me, it's not as much about being exuberant and being able to relate as it is to being empathetic in a more demonstrable way and less grudge holding. Mac Jones being the best example of it. The my way or the highway stuff that I think that Bill has shown, that might be the biggest disconnect, but there's going to be young coaches who feel the same way. I think that Sean McDermott might be similar too. So it's a mentality, I agree, but I don't think that Bill's age should preclude him. I look, and our boss Kevin Miller mentioned this earlier in the week, and I do agree with it. And I don't want to go too far down the road here because we've got a football game to talk about and draft picks.
We don't have a football game to talk about.
No, we don't.
Go ahead.
No, we don't. Go ahead.
If you look at CBS or NBC or Fox, at Fox you have the opportunity to work with Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski. At NBC, you have the opportunity to work with Devin McCourty or Rodney Harrison. At CBS, they're going to perhaps wipe out all of their older folks who've been there for a long time because they have expiring contracts. Cower, Phil Simms, Jim Brown, James Brown. So there would be opportunities for Bill.
You got J.J. Watt there now. You got Nate Burleson.
You go there, you catch your breath, you bounce your grandchildren on your knees for a while, you show what a great communicator you are, you show how sharp you still are, which he unbelievably is, And then you don't have to rush in to go to go coach the Panthers or the Bears or the Chargers. You don't have to squish this staff together in 3 weeks and be ready to go someplace else. You don't have to get into a pissing contest with the Crafts. To me, television for 1 year, 72 ain't what 72 used to be either.
Yeah, and it's pretty unusual. Like all the other guys I mentioned, when they were done, it was over. You know, I don't know if a lot of people realize, we talk about 71 for Bill Belichick. When Chuck Noll was done in Pittsburgh, he was 59 years old.
Jesus.
He was 59 and done.
Excuse me.
And there was not another franchise out there.
I didn't know
for him.
that.
Yeah, 59 for Chuck Noll. Don Shula, when he was done, that's it. Over. Tom Landry, done. And so for Bill Belichick, this is a new frontier of a guy of this status coaching 24 years with one franchise and then saying, I'm not done. I'm looking for another opportunity. I'm looking for another job. So we'll see how that goes.